Everybody, welcome to Comics Covered, where Matt and I, the co-founders of CoverPrice.com, use our website to talk about interesting shakers, new releases, hot sales of the week. It's also a chance for you guys to chat with us and for us to answer any questions you might have about CoverPrice.com. So here's Matt. How you doing, dude?
Good. How you guys doing?
I'm good. You said you had some...
It's like you guys, as in everyone watching, as well as you, John.
I thought it was kind of weird when you said you guys, because I was like,
I know. I caught that. I felt that vibe, and then
I'll put my little octopus here, and then it could be the royal we or something.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, no, it's not weird. It's cool. Maybe not. I don't know. All right, now I lost confidence. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, no problem.
How you doing, dude? What have you been up to?
Yeah, no, we talk every minute of the day, so just.
I know what you've been up to. I don't think the community knows what you've been up to.
We got Rudy in the house. Rudy, thanks for standing by and working the chat. It's good to have you. Rudy is a long-term Lord of the Lombox, so it's good to have the Lords present on our channel. We'll keep trying to get that tradition, keep that tradition going. As we mentioned last Friday, we talked about Tim a little bit, Tim Vo, and we had a really nice memorial for him Sunday night on the Lord's channel, and it was a really nice send off. His family was there, all the former Lords, and it was such a Laura and JB and everyone did such a great job running that, and it was very moving, very just a lot of great memories.
Yeah.
And yeah, how did you were there, John? So
yeah, no, it was amazing. It was good to you heard so many cool stories about his life and how he actually was just so helpful to people and sweet, and I didn't know half of those stories, and it was kind of cool to see that. Also, I don't know if you heard, I think you were probably watching yesterday, but they were saying his girlfriend mentioned that he was an organ donor, and they got a letter that they were able to donate his organs, and they're going to help about 100 different people.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. I didn't even know you could do that with so many. I thought maybe there was 3 good organs. I didn't know you can.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how many organs that you're donating, but I think they probably
find 100. I mean,
a lot of other stuff.
The fact that you can say help that.
Maybe it's pieces of organs.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But I mean, but still, to know that there's that many people walking around with that he saved that many people, or at least did something, made people's lives better. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And out of that, Cover Price was always providing the scripts for a lot of those shows and doing all that research, and Tim worked with us to kind of come up with that stuff. So because there's no more access to the channel, Tim owned that, the Lord's channel. We're doing now, JB and Laura are doing the Shaker Show in the top 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on our channel. So, keep the community strong. Feel free to join and watch. And I mean, so far, you guys are insane. There's so many viewers already from that. So it's really cool to see the community continuing and joining us.
I did want to touch upon that. That was some people's concerns. Heck, that was our concern. We actually weren't going to even discuss it till, weeks later, but it was something that had to be addressed last weekend. And we realized that, Tim didn't give anyone else access to the YouTube channel, just the StreamYard, which is how they were able to get in for the memorial. So there's nothing that we could do with the Lord's channel without all his passwords and all that stuff. So we had to make an immediate decision of where this was going to move. Would it be on Nearing Nirvana? Would it be here? And part of that, just to let you guys know, part of the long-term discussion with Tim back in March, he even announced it on his show that we were going to start weaving our 2 channels together to kind of eventually weave his shows over to ours, because we mentioned on the show how he wanted to stop. So his goal was to get to his 10th anniversary in February of 2025, and then we would pivot everything over. Unfortunately, that just got expedited.
Yeah.
You know, when he passed. So it was part of the plan the whole time. It was just unfortunate circumstances. But I really do think, you know, it did. I was really impressed with the shows. It's still like the same, operated by that same team. It's their show, all the same elements. You know, like they're like, can we cuss? Can we not cuss? We're like, do whatever you did before. It's all open. You know, run your show how you ran your show. So you know, I appreciate you, everyone, sticking in for you know, going with that transition and understanding the difficulties of like of taking one show when it was on a channel that had more viewers than we had. You know, it you know, is definitely it was a hard situation to navigate and figure out what the right thing to do. And I hope we landed on something that was the right thing.
I think so. We're still navigating it. We're still figuring it out. But yeah, I mean, if you guys like that type of the content and you're part of that community, join Laura and JB and us, and we'll figure this out all together.
And King of Golden State's on, so it's nice to have like, you know, all the old Lords folks on the, you know, showing up here. It's pretty great to see you guys. So you know, the little, if you're tuning in for the first time, the show is very rough. We were literally started this about 10 weeks ago, and we were like, hey, we should start doing something on our channel. And we were like, let's start a show and just where we're talking to you guys, kind of giving you some updates. So it's very rough, and it's going to actually form into a better show down the road. So
it's like an unpolished diamond is how I see it.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, like, you know, Matt and I are in Cover Price every single day using it, and it kind of dawned on us that like people probably don't know all the kind of bells and whistles that we've built, because we're really excited. We're like, oh, it'd be cool if we had this filter. Oh, it'd be cool if you can look at the estimated value for this. And sometimes we're not really good at telling people that we added it to the website. So this is a chance to kind of show that stuff as well. One cool thing about our show is we also do giveaways, and today we are giving away Scarlet #1. Matt, do you want to talk about this for a little bit?
I mean, it was one of the hot books of the week. John Boy Myers killed this 1 in 100. What I like about, I was telling this to who was I talking to about this? Oh, it was Brian on our team. He was like, I thought this was a foil book. I'm like, it is. He's like, why does it not look like a foil book? So Skybound's foils are a more matted foil. So like when you look at it, it doesn't, like Marvel and DC use pretty cheap foils. So it's very reflective. It's kind of thin, you know, and but you see all the glare. You can tell it's a foil. Therefore, Skybound's foils, whatever printer they're using, is a more matted foil, so it doesn't overwhelm the book, but it just enhances it. So we're giving this 1 in 100 foil away. It is $100 book right now. I don't know which way it's going to go. You never know with these, but it's a Scarlet #1. Scarlet is, I mean, most Scarlet variants have always done well in the past, you know, from older series. So I think it's going to hold on to.
Is the Scarlet and Duke and all that part of the Energon universe, right? That's like all the G.I. Joe stuff, and that's what, Void Rivals and Transformers?
It's Void Rivals, Transformers, Cobra Commander, Duke, Scarlet, and then Destro is the last, I think the last one.
I still love how they introduced it so secretly and just kind of threw a Transformer into a comic book, and they're like, oh yeah, now there's a Starscream.
Lefteros put Void Rivals in our watcher for the Shaker report today, and you know, he had some good points of why it's a good book to pay attention to the more we get into the Energon universe. I mean, it's these books are selling like hotcakes. Like if you talk to your store, they're probably ordering a ton of these. And if you're a fan of G.I. Joe or Transformers, it's really the best it's been. Sorry, IDW. It's the best that it's been in a very long time.
I was, you know, it's funny. I was kind of confused at first though, because I read Void Rivals and I was like, I thought that was Transformers. They were just calling it Void Rivals. I didn't realize that they
it's a separate book. They were just, it was the big reveal at the end of Void Rivals. One was that they wake up, you know, there's my God, Jetfire. It was like Starstream, Jetfire.
Jetfire. That's right.
Yeah. And
I had that. I had that toy. Do you remember that? That was the big one, right? The big white and red one.
I
And he was
believe so.
an Autobot. He was an
See,
Autobot.
I was more of a GoBots guy. I had a lot more GoBots than I did Transformers.
They were the knockoffs of Transformers. They were like cheap.
I didn't care. I did. Well, I think I had so I had Megatron, right? And I made the mistake of taking him on the plane with me to the airport for a trip when I was a kid, a very young lad. And I had him in gun mode, and he got taken away from me from the airport security. And they said they were going to mail it back. I am still waiting.
Do you want to hear the
Brian said, GoBots, kid. I can sing the song right now. No.
Please, I don't.
GoBots, the GoBots.
Can I put some music?
That's all I know, really. That's all I know.
He sings it all the time, guys. He doesn't stop singing GoBots. No.
Yeah, GoBots rocks. Jetfire was a Robotech knockoff. I mean, everything was a knockoff. Even Transformers was a knockoff of Shogun Warriors. You know,
yeah, Shogun Warriors, right? I remember you wrote about that a while ago.
Anywho, there's a lot to get into. So what we wanted to do is kind of take you through the week. And I'll share my screen real quick.
As Matt's doing that, just to let you know. So the way the giveaway works is at some point during the show, we're going to have you enter into the comments a hashtag that will automatically enter you, and then we'll do the giveaway at the end.
Word to your mother.
And that's how that works. All
right, here we go. I don't know how to make this bigger. If one of you guys know how to do that in the future, let me know.
Yeah.
Is it this guy?
Well,
nope,
that.
No, that doesn't do anything.
Little faces
in the future. So one note for any of you folks going to Fan Expo Dallas, we do have a list of exclusives all in one place here. If you want to see, this is a tradition that we started doing with New York Comic Con at 2023, where we put all the exclusives that are going to be at a convention in one place that tells you what the book is, the print run, the booth number, and the convention cost. So this is your shopping list right here. You can pretty much zoom through, have this on hand, and see exactly where you need to go. One of my least favorite things is finding convention books on the Whatnot app. I love Whatnot. You guys are great if you're there, but it drives me nuts that I got to find a convention variant on the app. Anyway, that's my advice.
The cool thing is, like, these really become the most comprehensive lists of variants at conventions that you're going to see. We have a team of people who literally go through and spend their weekends through it.
He saw, like, yes, this is one of my things I've been asking to do. Yes, I have a lot of Spawn ones.
We're gonna
no joke. These are from when I bought them off the stand, and this was one of my first ever spec books. One even has, like, I bought it at $20, and it even has the $20 price tag when I bought it back in that age. And my joke is that it took 35 years for it to get the value back. So that is my. But yes, that is one of my notes to our internal team is, can we condense so it doesn't show all books in my trending books. And yes, that Spawn book is constantly at the top because Spawn is constantly trending.
Yeah.
Anywho, so if you're going to Fan Expo Dallas, check out this list. It's got everything. If you're a Do You Poo fan, man, this is chock full of Do You Poo. It's chock full of poo.
Did you just say it's chock full of poo?
It's chock full of so much poo. There's so much poo.
What will you do?
I really like Matthew Waite, his Tyson variants. Man, there's a ton.
Can you open that one for a second? My brother spent so many nights as kids.
Well, there's a ton. There's old Tyson, there's old man Mikey, and then there's.
Open that one up and go to all the variants so we can see those.
Okay, please. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and, if you hit Control and scroll, you can zoom in and out on the screen.
I don't want it.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, this is. I mean, Matthew Waite does a great job. We were chatting. I was chatting with him a couple weeks ago. Awesome dude. He is like the king of NES variants. So I'm very close to wanting to buy some of these. The tidal wave has definitely found their niche after the Taylor Swift variants. They're like, hey, this variant thing is kind of lucrative.
Yeah, but
so
this is fantastic. I mean, it's so well done. The retroness of it, the nostalgia. I love that they've incorporated his older, like him with the face tattoo, him fighting. Was it Glass Joe is Jake Paul?
Oh, that's right. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, look at Tyson versus Paul.
Funny. Yeah. oh, that's funny.
Didn't Tyson have like a incident on an airplane recently where he had a health risk thing? And
there was. I think he had. I don't know. I forget what he said, but yeah, there was some issue. I don't think it was serious.
I got my issues with my opinions about it as well. I I don't know how to take it.
Now he's was it Jake Paul, or there's two Pauls, right? There's Jake Paul and another one.
I think it's Jake Paul.
Isn't he the one that bought like the $1 million Charizard?
Yeah, I think so.
And also the fake box of Pokemon cards that were all G.I. Joe. Speaking of G.I. Joe, Logan Paul. Thank you.
Logan Paul. Thank you, Logan Paul.
Sean Paul. Yeah, it's gonna fight. It was Sean Paul. Yeah. Man, this is why. Man, look at this. The sun's going down here. Well, let's get some light there.
Yeah, Scarlet wins the giveaway tonight.
When's the giveaway?
No, someone asked if they saw Scarlet. Yeah, it's going to be.
It already went. Sorry, guys.
We're going to give this away tonight.
Yeah. It's a good book, $100 book. So how many people are in here right now? 41. So you got pretty darn good odds to win one. And this is what we do every week. Usually the book is at a minimum of $50 that we usually give away. How fast I ship them is a different story. So those that are waiting, thank you for your patience.
So Matt is an infamously bad shipper to our team stuff. So
no. I'm not a bad shipper. I am just a slow shipper. Because your books can get to you safely. I'm not a bad shipper.
I will say, okay, that's true. I will say this: if it comes to you, you will get it. You'll be able to drop it off a building, and it'll be fine. But it'll take about a year to get to you.
Yes, this is true. Hopefully not. I kind of wanted to jump in just real quick on our top 10. When we were putting together, it was a relatively slow week. There wasn't a lot of news out of last week. The only thing that kind of popped up was. What was the Venom? Venom trailer was this week, right? We're just starting to see some of those books pop. Like, I'm surprised that Toxin didn't take off as fast as it did. It's kind of a slow burn. We'll see how it looks on Monday to see if it shows up on the list.
Real quick, Brian just distinguished between the Pauls, and I'm kind of curious why he knows so much about the Paul brothers.
He loves the Paul brothers. So Logan Paul got the Pokemon call, and Jake Paul is the one fighting. Okay, that cover is pretty tight. Yeah. Nice use of tight, Brian.
Tight like a tiger.
Tight. So really no surprises. My big surprise was how this was the announcement last week was Criminal, and it didn't even crack the top 10. So this is one thing we've noticed, that the speculation on independent content, comics to independent content, meaning not Marvel or DC, that market's gone. These books, these did have some good sales. There were some good 9.8 sales. But the whole behavior of people rushing out and buying these up like crazy seems to have really, people have learned a lot of lessons, which kind of takes us to one of our articles. We actually have a reflective that we do every week. Indies options farmed so hard during pandemic to boost comic sales. Well, it was actually what the problem was during, and I'm part of this because I was actually, I used to work for Sony, and was in that world. What they were trying to do, everyone wasn't working, so their job was to find stuff while they weren't working. And then what happened was there was this buildup during COVID, And then they're like, all right, let's go. And then got hit with these strikes. And then it was just basically, okay, we got too much to make now. What are they going to get rid of? What are they going to move on? And a lot of things actually ended up getting canceled or are kind of just stuck in limbo. But all the streamers are completely backed up. So it's really hard for a lot of the stuff to, a lot of the stuff is not dead. It's just, it's taking forever. Some stuff did die. I can't think. I know Bone got canceled and the Descender. A lot of Lemire's stuff got dropped. I know Remender's stuff is still, some of his stuff is still moving forward, except for and what was it, the space one? Help me out, John.
Which would the space one?
I don't remember titles. His space epic. Oh my god! Someone help me out.
Black Science, Dark Science, or
no, not Dark Science. Anyways, I'm just gonna move forward until someone says the name. Anywho,
Human Doers.
What's that?
No, sorry. It's not.
No, it was a space. It's a space like adventurer. I can't think of the name. The name Action Jack keeps shooting up in my head, and I know that's completely wrong.
It's not. I don't know if he did Black
but
Science.
It's in that same vein. No one's helping me out there, so thank you for letting me struggle with this. Anywho, so content has just really tapered off. That was kind of like a quick overview on the top 10 here, and how things are kind of just, the space one that narrows it down the entire universe. It's true. This is what we do. We present you with loose facts, and you're supposed to piece it together on your own.
Think of it as a scavenger hunt.
Right. Anywho, so we got the Fan Expo list, and we were going to go into the reflective. So our reflective 2 years ago, this is from our top 10 in 2023. Was it 1 year?
Is it top one? Go to the top. Wait, yeah, 1 year later. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was, this week coming up is 2 years. Sorry, I'm working on 2 years later right now, which is why I got has me tripped up. So of course, the one lesson here is content books. After the stuff comes out, there's always a big dip. We'll just roll through this because Very Gary does a great job at covering this stuff. So if you want to watch this in full detail, you can read it on the site, or you can watch Very Gary cover it on his channel. Amazing Spider-Man 78, which was the first appearance of the Prowler, aka Hobie Brown, aka alternatively Spider-Punk. His book was one of the only upticks in the past 2 years. So in June 2023, it was 118, 163. 700 to 840.
Is that because of the Miles connection and just because he had some screen time?
The truth is not just the Hobie Brown connection. It's kind of like it's an Amazing Spider-Man key, and it's, Amazing Spider-Man is one of the most liquid books all the time. I mean, honestly, it just comes down to, Spidey books, just there's so many collectors out there, especially for high grade. So Spidey books just keep going forward. So I kind of disconnect it away from content a little bit. Content gave it a little bit of a bump, but it really is just like Spider-Man is just such an evergreen series. It's especially under issue 100, all those books are highly sought after. And that brings us to like the Spot. The Spot was an interesting villain choice for the film. And he did you got to see him used in a new and interesting way. And we get to see more of that in the next film. So I'm kind of excited to see, even though everything dipped down, this was a brutal drop from 350 and a 9.8 to 66.
Didn't you have a rule or something a while ago where you're like, don't spec on a villain or something? Because
generally villain speculation is some of the worst. If it's a new villain, especially, villain spec falls hard almost all the time. Except if, again, they're a blue chip book, Doom, Green Goblin, all those. any early first appearances, those are always pretty stable. But I mean, come on, the Spot. How many stories have you read with the Spot prior to seeing Spider-Verse? You know, can you think of one? I've read two. There was like MODOK's miniseries that he did with and Spot was on, where he was a little more slapstick. But yeah, never buy the pictures, never buy the goalies. Yeah, it's true. King of the Golden State says the first appearance will jump back up.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So, I didn't control that. All right, I'll let you do.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's true. It'll definitely go back up. I don't know if it'll hit 350 and 9.8 unless someone writing Spider-Man's like, hey, I want to do something with the Spot now, and turns him into a big villain that has, I don't know. I don't know if the Spot will be. I mean, the one thing is when this film goes in front of a lot of kids and a lot of younger, a lot of teens. So a lot of people will know him as a villain. So it'd be wise for a writer to kind of take on the character and kind of draw in new readers that way. That's my recommendation. Anyone listening?
When I think of villains that like made a movie appearance that literally stood the test of time, was old school Superman, Chris Reeves, Zod. Everyone makes that reference. Neo before Zod. It was a meme. It just kept going and going.
Sure.
So maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's if Spot somehow becomes a cultural meme and all that.
Yeah. This is funny because this was 1 year ago. Rumors of Sydney Sweeney playing Spider-Woman was floating around in Madam after the announcement of her casting Madam Web. A lot of people were speculating that she was going to be even Black Cat in this. And now a fan illustrated Sweeney in a Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman costume. This was a year ago. Let's see if this comes up. But this was, and they pretty much, this is Boss Logic, I believe.
That's cool. That's a beautiful
cover. Maybe not. Maybe it's not Boss Logic.
I don't like I don't like Iron Fist down there though. It's a like lame sigil on his chest, doesn't he? He has the dragon.
Yeah. Well, anyway. we won't break it.
Yeah.
I have not watched Madam Web because I kind of want to be in the right headspace for Madam Web.
What is the right headspace for that movie?
You gotta. If you're in a bad mood, it seems like the perfect film because like you can't make your day any worse, right? So
it might make it better.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's interesting. Her first appearance. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this book will bounce back to its highs. I don't know if any of those actors want to replay these roles. But we'll,
they made fun of it pretty hard on SNL.
Yeah, they did. World Tree 33, World Tree. I keep saying 33. World Tree number 1. I mean, this was a hot book. It was 150 when it was a thing, one per store, hitting 150. Now it's trending at $50. 9.8 now sell for 150. If you've been aware of how many variants World Tree is putting out, even today, you can tell that's why those prices have like dropped. Just there's so many variants for this series.
Is it ever possible when there's so many like what's a good number of variants in your mind to start looking at and thinking that they won't like dilute each other?
In a perfect world, I would like an A cover, a 1 in 10, a 1 in 25, and then a 1 in 50. And then maybe one store exclusive, and then maybe one convention exclusive. And so I kind of like I'm fine with about 7, 8. Ideally, I think you need at least 3. But like, I mean, how many did this series have? I believe it was around 90-ish covers. 61 covers.
Yeah, I mean that was insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean the publishers and stuff, they're not looking for this to have an aftermarket value. They're just looking to have an opportunity to sell it,
And there are a lot from this first issue that do hold a lot of value. I know the Scotty Young does pretty well. Even the book that we just showed, the Peach Momoko at $50 is not a terrible drop. I mean, it's not terrible. terms of value. I know these Spectral comics were pretty valuable for a bit. I don't know. I'll have to check with Yara today, but anywho, it's unknown if this will ever get made into a show. Probably. I don't know how they'll do with the permanent nudity. That it's like 90% nudity in this book. So that would be quite a commitment on the actress playing Fear. Yeah,
that is quite a commitment. Maybe Emma Stone can do it, because
if you're wishful thinking, sure, you could wish anyone.
That last movie, that last movie she had, the Oscar award-winning one, she was just nude throughout that whole thing. So
Gabe, yeah, this was an excellent question, an excellent point. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People are buying them, and that's fine, because it keeps a lot of stores in business. If they're able to sell these books, fantastic. It does water down the value overall of and we'll talk about that in a second, Cherokee. It does affect the value of the books, but a lot of people, they're not, at this point, we've kind of moved into a cover buying market. So people are just buying the covers that they like, and, when you're going through all these options here, it's easy to kind of go through and be like, okay, what cover do I like? Oh, here's another, what was this book? I want to say The Last House on the Left, but I can never remember titles. This is why I have to have this stuff in front of me. It's another Tinian book.
Oh, Nice House on the Lake?
Yeah, Nice House on the Lake, right? The Last House on the Left, which is an old horror film.
Last House on the Left.
From the 70s. Yes. And I think that I confuse them all. Nice House on the Lake. Now you're just ruining it. Yeah. Now you're just completely shutting my mind. My favorite were actually Impact Lee's covers right here. And I like the Free-Zons for sure, but this cover was just, darn perfect.
So, do you want to answer Cherokee's question about recall?
Yeah. So, to answer your question about the recalls, I guess we made these adult covers because they can't blow them up. So what was interesting was CBNS had, now there was the bigger recall that went out to all the stores and no one sent them back. They just kept them. So it was a recall. So there's a lot of them out there, and a lot of them are not worth a ton. But the one that I would pay attention to is CBNS had this printing error where it's way dark. Like you couldn't see any of the details. All you could see was the I'll blow it up a little bit more. All you could see was kind of the light from her phone and just kind of her face, and then the glimmer of a knife. I actually like this recalled version better than the redone one, because it was it's still good, but I like the darker one. It was more like, coming out of the darkness. I think the error would have been the book to keep. I would have just kept it. But I know Aaron Bartley wasn't happy with it because you lose all the art. Like you don't see any of this stuff in the background, or her blood or anything, or any of the details. So, anyways, this book is really tough to find, the error version.
How rare is it ever possible to know what the print run is of an error? Because a lot of times
the print run was, I don't know what the print run was. I'm guessing it's probably around 500, but they did destroy them. But and of course you can never, I don't know if they confirmed that, but these were sent out to all the comp counts, so roughly 50-ish. And any of the artists got one, so there's probably under 100 of these, maybe less.
But it's the story around it being destroyed and error.
Yeah.
There becomes like a lore about it,
Yeah, if this was to ever get optioned, this is, I think that this would be the book to have if you were going to find anything. And Tinian did create his own production company, so he's actively trying to get this stuff made. So the likelihood of this getting made is better than most stuff. If they could get around the permanent nudity, which I guess would probably help sell the show.
They could do something like they did with not Eon Flux, with ScarJo and Ghost
Ghost
in
in
the
the
Shell.
Shell.
He just like super tight, whatever.
Well, Ghost in the Shell, she wasn't naked. She was still just a robot body.
I think the whole opening scene is her getting assembled, and she's naked and then they put clothes, but she's pretty much naked.
Interesting. Spider-Woman #1. I mean, we're spending a lot of time on this, but like, I mean, a lot of Madam Web books were moving, and of course they're dropping. Although not super hard as you would think, because these still are blue chip books. I still consider, this isn't her first appearance, but her first issue. It's still a solid buy. Miles is down 50% where it was a year ago, but again, even though that's a drop, we know this book is going to go back up. The second he has live action, this book is going to go bonkers. So, like, at this point, if you're buying 9 points at $1,000, if it goes even under, I would absolutely be buying them up. I think this is a good price right now.
This is forever evergreen.
I mean, Miles is a lot of people's Spider-Man.
Didn't you do for the first when we launched Cover Price? You gave away as one of the.
I had 6 copies. I gave away 4 of them. On our early days, yes, when it was $100. So,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So wait, real quick.
Now this has an interesting feature. It has a dust jacket. Books used to have these to protect the covers.
Marty!
I can't lose.
Marty, up here!
So if you were to go back in time, what would you do?
Would I go back in time? Oh, easily. I've thought about this way too much. I would buy because you have to still have the funds back in that time. You couldn't just go back with $1 million. If I had the funds, I would buy whatever I could of Ultimate Fallout. So, like, if let's say you had the ability to buy 2,000 copies, you would get all those 1 in 25s. So those 1 in 25s are pricey. So the value, if you had to buy a modern book, Ultimate Fallout 4 back then, buying them upon release, huge payday.
You have a time machine. You wouldn't go get like Amazing Fantasy 15, Action Comics 1.
Oh, are we talking about you could go back whenever? I thought you have to go back in your own personal timeline. If you could go back, I was creating rules. If you go back anywhere, sure, you could go to. Why not? Yeah, of course you'd go back to Action Comics 1. But it'd be a little weird if you showed up with 100 pristine copies of Action 1. I don't know if people would be like, "Yeah, sure, buddy." You have 10 9.8 Action Comics 1. Yeah, I think you would have a really hard time.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, you would flood your own market, and then.
People would be like, "They're fakes. They're fakes." There's no way you would.
A little bit. You do the 5th grade experiment where you
crumple them up. Yeah.
Crumple them up, make it like a treasure map, right on the cover.
Gabe said racking UF4 when he was working at a comic book shop had over 100 copies. Yeah, I mean it was a huge print run. This is one I love Spider-Punk. I loved Spider-Punk before the film, and I love that he was kind of the breakout character. I want more. I didn't really love the recent releases of the solo series. I feel like a lot of characters take the character too far, a little too slapsticky, a little too. I wish people would take a little more serious approach to him because he is a really cool character.
Spider-Punk.
Yeah,
what made him slapsticky to you?
I know in the comic book runs. The film did a good job of managing it.
Right.
The comic books take. If you read this, well, no, there was actually a Edge of Spider-Verse 1, I believe. It was the second series. I forget. There was his first solo story, and it was Kang the Conglomerate, and then there was Punk Hulk. Punk Hulk was cool because he would transform when he would play this one punk song for him, and he would then turn from Bruce Banner into the Punk Hulk. That was fun. I did like that a lot. They had to hold him down and play the punk music. I didn't like some of the other elements, like the Captain America in there was kind of silly. Anywho,
Your favorite?
yeah, I was surprised that this kind of went down a little bit. But honestly, I think a lot of people had this book. 1 in 10. I think people just kind of expected it. But it is now, now that it's kind of cheaper. I'm definitely going to pick up one because I wish that he had his legs out a little bit because it looks like he's standing on a cloud.
He has to have them together. He can't be.
Yeah, that was, I get really picky about certain elements on a cover. Like in that, if he's just standing on a cloud, I don't love.
He's also burning his calves right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. The direction of the flame.
That seems. Yeah. So, fun fact: Matt and I saw this in theaters for Matt's birthday way back when.
Yeah, but back when we were wee lads. Still one of my favorite films, and that film still holds up.
It does.
And it is one of my favorite lines to say out loud is whenever my wife or my daughters say, "How do I look?" I always say, "You look like a hood ornament." And they hate it. They hate it a lot.
Because they have no idea what it's from or
why. No idea what I'm talking about. It's completely irrelevant and just a waste of time. I laugh.
You laugh. That's the important part.
Anywho. This was an interesting one. Was Spider-Man 7 First Spider-Boy. So everyone was like, it'll be fun to see what this looks like in a year. Roz held, at FOMO, Roz, even though it went down a little bit, have held. And if you look at this book is still flooding eBay today. You could buy as many copies as you want online. There are so many copies out there. So 9.8, this was kind of first to market 9.8, so 135. They always get those bumps. So a little time watered them out a little bit, brought them down to 71. I don't know, what will we see any more of what's the character's name again?
I don't know.
Come on, well, help me out. What is Spider-Boy's I'm not gonna research it.
You just go straight to Google.
It's something oh my god, no one's helping us out there. Just letting us struggle with the name.
Spider Bite?
No, his real name. He's the little redhead kid. Bailey Briggs. Thank you, Chris. Jeez Louise.
Yay, Chris. I need to have special horns to award you for the right answer.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what I still think this is kind of at where Ultimate Fallout 4 was back in the day. Not that I think Bailey Briggs is going to be Miles level. But it's still, it hasn't really changed in price too much in a year. So that's the good news.
Going through this list makes me go back up. It feels like yesterday that was on the top 10 all the time. The Spider-Man.
Well, because it was on there for 4 freaking months.
Maybe that's why. But that was a year ago. Yeah. That's crazy.
It was still this year when it was trending. It was still going into this year when it was moving. So
okay, I feel better.
It's just that book was on fire. $20.99. There's a ton of these out there, which is why it kind of lingers at $15, $20, $13. I still think this book at $100. This is a wall book for every Spider-Man fan. So $100, I think I will pick up a copy because these books are not. It's hard to find near mint copies of these out there.
What about the Toy Biz one? I think that's a cooler cover, just because.
Yeah, I have a 9.6 of that.
Yeah, can I have?
I had a 9.4, then I upgraded it to a 9.6.
Matt's a very generous person. He always gives me comics for nothing. So can I have that one, Matt?
No, I traded it. Yeah. No, there was another book I wanted, so that's why I was like, I wanted something else, so I traded for it.
Nice, Jonathan. Yeah, that's gonna be
Cherokee
cool.
says he has a newsstand of starting 29. Yeah, newsstands are awesome. It's finding a high grade of a newsstand of that is still good. This is the book that's going to sell every day, all day, especially in the next film when we'll see him turn from less of a dick to more of the hero that we know him to be.
Yeah, he did. He was the villain in a sense. He was the bad guy.
He was kind of like the dad. I kind of saw him as the grumpy dad character of the the rule, the rule bear. I think he's going to come around in the second film, and then they'll have a heart to heart. Then he'll probably die, and then everyone will be sad.
Jeez.
That's the arc I expect with 2099. Yeah, the parental figure. Yeah, I didn't see him as the bad guy, but he is the one character that kind of had to push Miles in a direction,
Yeah. So Matt, Lord of Brooklyn here says he's here to protest the Puffin stuff being on the top 10.
Why?
Fair question. Why?
We've had the banana splits on there back when it was moving when they had the horror film come out. Did you ever watch that? So the banana splits came out not too long. I think it was another sort of Marty Krofft puppet show. The banana splits wasn't, but it had a comic book. They were on our Shaker show. Why does it have Why does it have Image 1992 almost Spider-Man 2099? Oh, because you just found a typo. Yay! That none of us have saw until now.
Ding,
so thank
ding,
you,
ding.
Brian. Dang it, Brian! If you're watching, yeah. So we have to change every little detail out of this: the background graphic, the front graphic, the title, the artist name, details, the publisher, the year, and then all this details, even these little like dates right here. Stuff. We missed some stuff. So yes. But if you don't have the Image version of this book, then you don't know. No, just kidding.
Yeah, the 1992 version.
You are missing out.
So Lord of Brooklyn was sad because it was such an obscure book. It put him in the Ophir's abyss.
Oh yeah, you are pretty good with your books. So yeah, sorry, dude. No, I don't know. Should we talk about? I wanted to kind of go back. Have people heard about the secret variant for Ultimate Fallout 4?
Which one?
So
because I think I know what you're talking about.
This is a true story.
Okay.
So we don't have it on here because I've asked and I was told no. But this book has a secret variant. So the story is when this book was printed, it was a huge success. They went to a second print. And they're like, we're going to do a black and white version of this cover as is, face unrevealed, black and white version. That was going to be the second print. They printed off about 50 of those to like do the printer proofs. They decided, nah, let's not do this. Let's do the full face reveal, which is right here. And we'll do and we'll also do the interior of him taking off the mask. So they went with those and distributed those. But there is a black and white version of this that only the creators of the book have. So they are the only ones, and then some of the execs at Marvel. They were told to never display it, never show it, never acknowledge its existence, and never sell it.
Are we allowed to talk about it, Matt? Is another question.
Well, we are right now.
I guess, but we don't have it, so it's fine.
Yeah,
but that's the stories.
And I know it exists, and so this is a real thing. So there is a secret book that is worth probably 10 grand just as it is. So that is a book. If you want to ever ask, if you're in front of Bendis or Begley or Bendis or Pacelli, any of these people, Hickman, ask them about it. See if they have it, and if you can buy it from them. Nice knowing you guys. I know, right? I mean, but this is one of those things where it's kind of fun, like, because I mean, it's kind of like some books you didn't know existed because no one knows they exist, but there is, it's out there.
We were talking about this last time, like how some of these books are so rare that there's no market values, so no one knows what they're worth.
Well, I mean, that book would have so much attention around it. It's like, what is the Del Auto Spider-Man 667? I believe 667. I mean, it's so rare that people talk about it enough that when one comes up, it sells for a premium because it's constantly in conversation. When a book is so rare that people don't know about it, yeah, sure. Like, it's hard to determine the value. It could be worth $10. It could be worth $1,000. It could be worth $5,000.
So would you say if you know about it,
Don't be suspicious. 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 Don't be suspicious.
John Ralphio?
What I do when I like, because I used to dig all the time, right? And so you'd find something really valuable and you put it on the bottom of the stack. Or if you're next to people digging, you flip it over because you don't want people to be like, call it out like in front of everyone. Yeah, I get that feel all the time.
Sneaky ways. Hey, so we're coming up towards the end. I want to put up the how to enter for this week's giveaway.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see here. So to enter, just type in hashtag Scarlet. You got to spell it correctly, as Matt pointed out to me. 2 T's. If you type that
2
in.
T's. Yeah, if you do it with 1 T, you're out. Sorry.
That'll get you in there. And so far we have 1 entry. Jonathan got there.
And run.
Okay. We're going to do, now everyone's going in. So yeah, enter. We'll do it at the end in about 5-10 minutes. So Matt, you're in the shaker section. What are some cool things you can do there?
So what I'm doing right now, and we talk about this every show, we're not going to do this every time, we promise. But I go to our filter section. I should go back here. Let's start from the front. I go to our shaker section, right in there. I go to my filter. I only care about modern books in terms of what I want to see. So the Lords did a good job of showing some of the Golden Age or some of the stuff that was at the top of this list. I like just the copper and moderns. Coppers are moderns, if you will. But like, there's some fun stuff in here. I was wondering if one book is going to make the list. I kind of wanted to talk about it real quick, so I'm going to zoom through it real fast. You'll see some books. Heck, you'll probably even see the book that we're giving away tonight. Wow, we're on page 3 here. All right, let's go to.
I love that Wolverine one on the top right there. Top
yeah,
right.
The Nabisco one.
Nabisco. I've seen it so often on our site that I keep thinking I have it, and it breaks my heart that I don't.
Yeah, well, you had to mail away from it. I believe you had to send in like 5 proof of purchases to Nabisco. Oh yeah, so here's the book I was excited to see pop up yesterday. So on our Shaker show, this is the stuff you can find everything. It goes down to $99. So here's an old, an early Mirage book in terms of the later runs. So it's an older, early book. But I love, this is kind of like, as you're doing conventions, take your free books. When they're giving free books, take your free books. Because like this was given out for free, what was it, at the 2017 San Diego Comic-Con. Handing these out, like they were sitting on the floor. You could have picked up stacks of copies because people just dropped them. $100. These are selling for $100, $475 and a 9.
Would you leave $100 on the floor if you saw it? No, pick it up.
I mean, why is this? I mean, look at it. It's like it's Colonel. This was at the prime when KFC was doing some crazy bonkers stuff with their advertising when they had all these actors playing the Colonel, and they had this They had this thing where they had to guess they were following 7 herbs and the Spice Girls, so it was like 7 herbs and spices, and so like the first person to acknowledge that won an actual painting of him riding on the Colonel's back in the wilderness holding a bucket of chicken. I mean, they were doing fun stuff, and they had video games and stuff so they have I mean, this was they had one at a 2016 New York Comic-Con. They gave away this one. This is both $298 was a high for a 9.8, but 103 raw in December, but it sold for 110.
Is anyone else craving KFC right now?
Yeah, I know, right?
Good marketing,
you can still
man.
trade that Colonel Sanders book for a 2-piece. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I just think they're fun. But I'm just saying, when you're at conventions, don't throw away the free books. Like, literally, it costs you nothing just to keep it and store it away. So just kind of like, I saw that and I'd be like, oh, this would be fun to talk about.
Why is Green Lantern so mad at the Colonel though? Why is he
He
taking away his chicken?
He said it's finger licking, and he doesn't want him to ever say the catchphrase ever again. I assume.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cosmic powers, and you beat up old people.
Green Lantern just hates chicken. Hates chicken.
Is that Hal Jordan? Yeah, it's something you don't know about Hal Jordan. He's really
never again
ethical.
But yeah, see, look, 0 cents. See, you can't lose. You can't lose on paying $0 or 0 cents.
Just storage space in your house for a decade or two.
I mean, for $100, it's worth $100.
Yeah.
That could and literally they were everywhere. I remember them just sitting on the floor next to trash cans because people throw them away, which is probably why they're worth so much. It's because people didn't keep them, and so they're probably hard to find.
I like Jonathan's theory here. He may lose his ring if it's finger licking because
it's a good point.
That's
really
could happen.
I wanted to I wanted to cover something else. It's a little bit of let's tap into a little TiVo and do some spec. I recommend you guys check out the Shakers. Go through, just check it out. You can find the books that strike your fancy.
Can you go to the homepage for 1 second though? Just the Shaker. We always go into the Shakers, but there's a lot of lists that we have generated that might be interesting to everybody. We don't have to go into them right now, but
no, it's just Shakers. Just Shakers.
Just Shakers. We got go through them. Key list, hot list.
We have hot comics. I'll show. We have hot comics. That's a population. Sorry, my internet is slow.
That's internet
every week. Just some of the books that are trending a little bit more in terms of it's a mixture of volume and price. So kind of books seeing a nice little upticks here and there. If you go into our movers, these are all the books that are moving in volume. So these are the books through the week that are trending in terms of they're just books people are buying up. They could also be moving up in volume in price. It'll tell you usually when they're moving up. But you can see Doom is just on fire. And you could kind of get a little trick. Our algorithm for the top 10 pulls in it values volume and price upticks to build the list, and it's all automated. A good test is it usually pulls from this first 2 lines. It's usually kind of half the top 10 is what's trending in terms of volume, because usually it's also seeing a price uptick at the same time. I wish I could get all the cover price desktop functions on my cell phone. Can you not?
Hey, you can. It's all available, but some good stuff's coming soon. But right now, everything's mobile responsive. You should be able to do all that fun stuff, but it's a smaller screen.
The Joshua Helverine is literally on fire, says Jonathan. Technically, it's not, because it's not on actual fire, but it is showcasing fire. So if we want to be nice. I'm just excited to see Dakin back. I have always been a fan of Dakin. He's such a weird character.
He is weird.
But I enjoy him because he's kind of he's like an unpredictable version of Wolverine.
But how's he coming back? I mean, they spelt his name in his body parts.
Well, they brought him back. I haven't read the issue, so someone else could. I'll have to pick it up. I'll have to go to the comic shop this weekend.
Fair enough.
Get a copy.
So real quick to everybody, if you haven't already, we're about to do the giveaway. Please do us a favor. Just subscribe, like the thing. It helps. It's fun to see the numbers go up, and hopefully it'll be interesting, and you guys can then get alerts and all that stuff when we do shows, and it makes us feel good.
And before we get into the giveaway, the one thing I kind of want to do, what I thought was interesting. So Rejected Scooper, he's part of the definitive film, or I forget who. Discussing Film. So I guess he writes for Discussing Film. You could go to his post, but he listed. I guess he's accurately scooped some of the Deadpool Wolverine stuff. Here's a full list of 60 characters that will appear in Avengers 5. And he lists off the multiversal characters. So Fantastic Four, Wolverine, Deadpool, bless you. Deadpool Corpse, which I thought was interesting. That's kind of a spoiler.
I bet they're going to poke fun of that because he played Green Lantern.
I mean, and then they have all the cosmic characters, the grounded characters. Yeah, it's a huge list. The surprises on here for me was Deadpool Corpse, which means they'll have more of a presence in Deadpool, I assume, than we expected. The surprises that I didn't see on here was Wolverine is the only X-Man on this whole list. I was surprised to see the Eternals is coming back. Thor, Gore's daughter, is going to be back. Everything else is Nova, who's been rumored to appear for the past 5 years. Hercules, when did we last see Hercules? Oh, it was at the end of Love and Thunder.
That was the Thor one. Yeah.
So no great surprises there, other than maybe Nova. The grounded characters, Gia, I guess. Yeah. I mean, Gia's super OP now, so she could take everyone on herself.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot of Hulkling and Wiccan, and Scar and Speed. Those are probably the surprises there.
Hey, Matt Treasury wants to know if we have a filter on the site for Taylor Swift roles that she might play.
I know. Let's say Taylor Swift could probably play every character, on this list. It is funny how much. So the rumor was, I don't even know. People said that at the premiere that she didn't show up, and I don't know if that's accurate. This is just passed down. It's not from anyone that was actually there. It was kind of rumor mill, right? So then people automatically started speculating on the blonde bombshell. So as that gets phased out, like people are they really want Taylor Swift in the MCU, clearly. So, it's funny that she'll just take on new roles. I'm glad to see the Scarlet.
Right. So I just saw Taylor Swift.
That wouldn't be awful. That wouldn't be awful.
That's hilarious. All right, should we do this giveaway or?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of go through this again. You take it with a grain of salt.
I mean, this is like everyone in the universe, though.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this list, there's going to be some bloodshed. Like, I think Marvel's looking at this and they're like, okay, we're way over the top on characters now, and they probably got to reset a bit. And I'm surprised. I don't know if they announced if Franklin Richards is going to be in the Fantastic Four. I don't think so, right?
I haven't heard any noise of that. No.
That if he was on this list, I would definitely say that Franklin Richards would be the key to pocketing all these universes into one thing.
They got to clear it up. They got to kind of bring it back together so that we can actually have a through line of everything.
I think they're going to phase. They're going to just wipe everything out and kind of come into an ultimate Marvel universe, and just kind of rebuild a little bit.
Well, does that mean my Ultimate X-Men will finally be worth something?
Nope.
Son of a. Those are so good. I love that storyline.
No, the Ultimate X-Men is great. My favorite was when Multiple Man was basically Magneto's entire henchman.
Yeah.
It was he just had Multiple Man doing all the work, building his little his I don't know, his base, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And her Swift will be Mojo. I'd take her as Long Shot. She would be she could be Long Shot.
Oh yeah, she'd be Long Shot. Or Spiral. She'd be Spiral.
I mean, their Swift is too. I mean, she's doing just fine. She doesn't need an MCU job.
She doesn't need any of this.
She's doing just fine for herself. Anywho, the Deadpool corpse I think is interesting to me.
Who's in the Deadpool corpse? That's like the dog and
you got Dogpool, you got zombie Deadpool, you got Lady Deadpool, you have
Gwen
Deadpool. Is there any others? I think there's a whole bunch.
What about Gwenpool, or was that before her?
Gwenpool was a riff on the multiple was it after the success of Spider Gwen. They kind of made fun of it, poked fun at it, and created a whole series of covers of Gwen as a whole bunch of other Marvel characters.
Oh, that's right.
And one of them was Deadpool. And actually, it's funny enough, we have like on our Shaker report this week, we actually had the second print of
They were talking about that last night, and it was funny because I don't remember it being a red background, but
so
that was the second
it was during Deadpool's Secret Wars. It was a variant cover for it. It was just a throwaway character on the cover. That we showed this. How awesome is it to have a possum with a gun? You know, how many covers have a possum with a gun? Wearing kind of like a bathing suit or a loincloth? I don't know what that is, but
well, Matt, what else is a possum going to wear?
I am so in on this. Someone made a comment on our team that it looks like an old Sega Saturn box, and it does really have a Sega Saturn look to it.
Yeah, it does.
There's our torch cover. So this was the basically they did a 1 in 25 variant for Unbelievable Gwenpool 0. So this was pulled from her first appearance, which was just in a pool, a regular blue pool, not a red pool. That was the only appearance, and people loved it so much that it inspired this whole spin-off series, which is so funny that they're like, even like Spider Gwen was kind of a not serious version of Spider Woman, and then they did a not serious version of Spider Gwen, and even those went on. You know, this character kind of went on to become successful. It just it's kind of funny how stuff works out well.
Yeah,
but don't forget the possum shades on his head is badass. Let's look at. They're like goggles. So but he also has an eye patch and goggles.
Matt, there's a backstory. He realized how important eye protection is because of the eye patch. So now he wears it just in case.
You know who she looks like? Like Donna D'Erico. Do you remember her from Baywatch?
Under Siege, out of the birthday cake.
And Under Siege, yeah. If any of you 90s fans out there remember Donna D'Erico, look her up. She was the person of the 90s.
She was. Yeah. All right, let's do this giveaway.
Yep.
All right.
I'll get off of this picture.
So, okay, if you haven't entered, type in hashtag Scarlet with 2 T's. We got 48 people in the giveaway right now. So the way it works is we'll show you who's going to win. And when you do win, you can either reach out to us on Instagram.
Jonathan made, Erica Leenick, not Donna D'Erico. Erica Leenick. Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking of
Donna D'Erico was on Baywatch, though, but so was Erica Leenick. Yes, I believe she was. Anyway.
All right,
yes. You confuse all the blonde Baywatch. There's Pam and there's everyone else. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was in my spiel. No, it's fine.
I know.
That's okay. So reach out to us if you win, either on Instagram directly, or you can email us at info@covrprice.com with your Cover Price username so we can verify it's you. But we have to be able to verify it's you, otherwise we get a ton of emails. Not really. No, everyone here is pretty darn honest, so it's kind of nice.
And let's try and show us your possums. Man, that sounds dirty when I say that.
That does, but I do like it. That's actually yes, that's our thing now. The show is rough, and now it's finally becoming refined. Thank you.
Show us your possums, man. Every time I hear it.
Show us your possums. All right, here we go. Scarlet, anyone last chance to enter? You don't have to do it multiple times because it'll already.
It's $300 here, guys. This pays for your Cover Price subscription for a year and a half.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 50 entries, pretty good chance to win. Again, thanks everyone for watching tonight, for spending your Friday with us and kicking off your weekend. We really appreciate it. All right, the bassist 40.
Bassist, not the
bassist. The bassist. Oh, okay. You like fishing?
The bass? Yes.
He loves fishing. Okay, I wrote it down.
He's 480 years old, so that's pretty,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Congratulations. We'll have some more giveaways next week. Reach out to us on Instagram or info@coverprice.com. Give us your shipping information and we'll get this out. Matt will get this out to you next year sometime.
Yeah. yeah, anytime from now to next year, it'll be out. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Yes,
Matt,
I will.
Matt, you're shipping.
Hopefully, I
every
can get it out tomorrow. I have some time tomorrow. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's see. Let me.
Slap of the bass. Jordan just says slap of the bass. What's that from? Slap of the bass.
That's where you best friend the Matthew Siegel, Jason Siegel.
I love you, man. I love you, man.
I love you, man. That's right.
Yeah, it's like it's really like the Rush, the movie.
It really is. All right. Any last words, Matt?
No, thanks for joining. This is kind of what we plan to do, is just take you through the week of stuff that's happening in the comic book space. So we went through Fan Expo Dallas, we went through the top 10, we went through the Shakers, went through the Reflective, we went through the Shaker list, and we covered, and then we did some spec. So, and then you saw all my 10 copies of Spawn #1, which is why now you know it's always on the list. No, I'm just kidding.
What's next week going to hold? Who knows? We just go through the website and see what's cooking and talk about it. Yeah. If you have ideas, reach out to us. Let us know. Matt is.
Yeah, if you want to see some books, if you want us to give away anything specific, let us know. New stuff. We don't have any possum books to give away.
Only awesome books moving forward. That's how we roll at Cover Price.
And please follow, join our shows on the Top 10 on Tuesdays and the Shaker Show on Thursdays. Watch them, play them back from this week. The Shaker Show last night was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. It's such everything is, it's great. If you want comic information, here's where you go. All right, everyone.
Like, subscribe, all that stuff. No, I'm not giving away any holofoil Mega Man. That will go into my coffin with me. I will be clutching. They'll uncover me 1,000 years holding the Mega Man.
I'll find it in Matt's collection. I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
I'll sneak it out. All right, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.